So yes, the future sure is looking bright for Diablo 4, and we got some exciting news straight from the dev team today about what is going on with World Tier 4 loot pool. Some updates going to be happening with that. The 13 pages of patch notes. Did the recent patch really tackle everything on those 13 pages? Well, the devs actually say no to this. Find out what they didn't get to. Some interesting stuff here. Plus, some things did make it into the recent patch that were not mentioned in the actual patch notes. Find out what that is. And is the Diablo 4 team going to give into NFTs eventually? We have a response from the devs about that one. And of course, we're going to go over some critical feedback from the community as well. But let's first and foremost start out with this one right here from Ryan, who says, is this the one that's 13 pages long of patch notes or whatever? I heard something about that. And of course, he is responding to Adam Fletcher, who highlighted that recent patch that went live recently. It was a big one. And let me tell you what, I love what Blizzard has done here. Now, the response is this right here from Adam Fletcher, who says, most of it, we still got some other items before Season 1 to address some other issues. So it looks like we will be seeing even more patches before Season 1 rolls around. Now, remember, Season 1 is going to be starting mid-July to late July. So yeah, expect another patch. I would say sizable patch sometime in July. So that's really good news. All right, next up we have this one as well from Xa, who says this. Is it possible to fix the loot drop for World Tier 4? I wish to be getting ancestral gear instead of sacred gear. I feel like I'd be getting more sacred than ancestral. And we have Adam Fletcher, who says this team is looking to adjust better rewards by Season 1. So yeah, it looks like we will be seeing some adjustments to the World Tier 4 loot pool here before Season 1 starts up. And then, of course, you got to remember that Season 1 will most likely include new items as well on top of those adjustments. So that's exciting news as well. The game just appears to be getting better and better, which is awesome news. All right, so what's next? We have this one right here from Mr. Prog, who says, hello, Diablo 4 dev team. Usually in Diablo, the higher the difficulty is, the better the loots are. In Diablo 4, do we have more ancestral than sacred, the harder the nightmare dungeon is? Great question, and the response is simple from Joseph Rapara, who says yes. So that is 100% confirmed. I think that a lot of people do know this, but in case you didn't, yeah, the higher the difficulty is, even for Nightmare Sigils, you'll see the tier level on there. Expect to see more ancestral drops. Again, that should be even more so after an upcoming patch. So yeah, look out for that. Now, we have this one right here from BD Pulse, who says Diablo 4 desperately needs a group finder or party finder. It was one of the main components in the past which made Diablo so fun. There are dozens of posts on Reddit with thousands of users who agree with this. Is this something you've been hearing? And of course, he asked Adam Fletcher, and here's a reference right here. 1,800 upvotes and not having a party finder is a mistake. It makes level 70 plus boring. And the response is this. We addressed this on the Campfire chat stream. It's a thing we have been hearing, more of a quality of life feature for the future as we continue evolving and updating the game. So this is something, you know, as I speculate here based on what he is saying, I would anticipate this ending up in the game eventually. I don't think it would be happening immediately, of course, because it would be quite the undertaking, of course, but it seems like they have the multiplayer infrastructure, you know, here, so it shouldn't be like overly difficult. They've done it in the past. All right, so next up we have this one from Chrissy, who says, I lost out on quest reward at the end of Act 6 because my inventory was full. A lot of others have made this silly mistake, and I was wondering if anything could be done about it. The item gets dropped, and we can't pick it up because the screen fades to black. And the response is this from Adam Fletcher. He says, yeah, known issue the team is looking into right now with many other items we are tracking and looking into it. So, looks like that's going to be also fixed in the future. Whew. Now, we have Maybe, who says, I do not see the fix to Blighted Corpse Explosion in the notes. And if you're not familiar with this, the Necromancer Blighted Corpse Explosion really obscured the screen basically for everyone, and it was such a pain. Well, guess what? We have this one right here. If we scroll down, Adam Fletcher confirms it's lumped in visual fixes, I believe, because we had a lot of things improved from various items. So that made it into the patch. It was one of those things that wasn't in the patch notes, I believe, but a lot of people caught it. And yes, I'm so glad that they have actually addressed that, and it really does seem like this team is very much in tune with the community. Now we have Crimson Rain, who says, still didn't fix the cosmetics issue. This costs real world money. Please fix this. I feel like you guys don't care. The whole helm is messed up. Yikes. And you can see right here how, this is a purchased cosmetic from the shop and it's not working right. And the response is this: we got a fix lined up for this in a future patch. So you can have a sigh of relief. That is going to be fixed. It's not going to be like that forever. It's a bummer it's like that in the first place, considering that real life money was laid down to get that item. But yeah. Alright, so we have E1 Evaded, who says, Joseph, in a perfect world, meaning no restrictions from the FCC, would you consider making cosmetic NFT like the really rare unique? I guess what I'm asking is, what are your thoughts on NFT, and if you can see a future with having them in the game? Oh boy. And Joseph, of course, simply says, nope. So yeah, I think it would be absolutely way too risky to put NFTs in Diablo 4, given their current history. There's a lot of scam artistry that goes on around NFTs. So far, they really do not have a great reputation. And of course, you have Dr. Disrespect really risking it with NFTs currently with his own game. We'll see how that one pans out. But I'm so relieved to hear that they have absolutely no plans, it seems, to go that route. So we can all have a major sigh of relief about that one. Alright, so next up we have this one right here. Any fix for the server stutters and lag? Thank you so much, Cody, for asking this one. Joseph Papora says this patch 1.03 does have some performance and stability improvements in it, but we will continue to identify these opportunities over time. A very, generic response there, of course. Now, I myself have done some testing on my PC, and there are still noticeable stutters. It's like this micro stutter. It just grates on my nerves. So for now, I'm on Xbox Series X, where it runs absolutely beautifully and perfectly. So I just have to be on a platform that is smooth. Let me know if you're on PC and you're dealing with this horrible micro stutter. I absolutely hate it. It never used to run like this for me personally, and I think a lot of you guys are in tune to the fact that it is the VRAM leak, this weird memory leak issue. It needs to be fixed like ASAP, in my opinion. A lot of the user base is on PC. But I'm wondering, once again, how many of you are actually dealing with this on PC? And I would love to highlight a potential workaround or fix. I'm currently trying to look for it, trying everything to get this run right. You just saw the stutter right there. Yeah, so it's like a frame drop. Such a pain in the butt. Let me tell you what. All right, so let's head on over to Reddit, where we have some excellent feedback from the community. So let's get into this right now. Starting with this one right here. I would absolutely love it if sigils would indicate an active whisper. What a fantastic idea right here. You can see that you have the, the whisper icon, the dungeon icon right there telling you, hey, this nightmare sigil also shares an objective, that's tied to the Tree of Whispers. Dude, this is like dead on. This is the type of quality of life adjustments that need to make it into the game. I love it. I hope they do this in the future. Alright, so next up we have this one right here. It says, I hate that the glyphs all look the same. And as you can see, there's no really identifying labels here telling you what's what. You have to click on them individually. They need something more to this. Same thing with aspects. They need to adjust the menu related to, aspects and, of course, glyphs going forward. The UI needs to tell you instant feedback what you're looking at specifically. It's too vague currently. All right, we have this one right here. The quality of life to teleport to any dungeon is amazing. I wanted to say something first and foremost. I did a previous video, and I kind of went on about, hey, how teleporting is outside of the dungeon. It should be inside the dungeon. I really need to take the time out to say how amazing this recent patch actually was, and how awesome it is to be able to teleport right there to the dungeon, even though it's like on the outside of the dungeon. That's cool. Now, I'm going to get into your top comments in just a moment more about this, but yes, what they have done here with the teleporting is amazing, and the patch overall, I personally think they nailed it. All right, so yes, let's read about this post. It says, a really fine quality of life aspect. Thank you, developers. It saves so much time, especially for those dungeons that require a bit more traveling time, like Dark Ravine, for example. Keep these neat quality of life coming. Edit Nightmare Dungeon entrance. Yes. Man, you know, I'm so happy that they did this. It saves so much time. I think they could push it even further. I guess that's what I was trying to say in my previous video. So yeah, this is a great start, a great beginning, and I'm curious to see where they take this. I am so curious as to what happens with this game in the next couple of years. It's going to be crazy. All right, so we have this one right here. Yesterday's patch was an all-around win. A lot of people are universally agreeing about this one, I believe. It says, while they may not have addressed everything we have been talking about, complaining about, the majority of the patch was quality of life fixes that addressed a lot of community feedback. While we are still waiting on a few things, I think the contents of that patch shows that the devs are at least paying attention to us and are actively trying to make our experience better. I would also like to take this time out to remind everyone we are still in Season 0 based on how fast, let me see here, I can't see it, there it is, hotfixes are being pushed. I've shifted my view of this 4-week period to more of a rehearsal in front of the actual game starting in Season 1. We have to be honest, the changes they have made and the attention this is getting from Blizzard have actually blown me away. I didn't expect half of the improvements Blizzard has made to be done so quickly. If this pattern continues, I could see this game being fantastic in Season 2+. I think Season 1 is going to be a little bit rough in my opinion. This is not a perfect game, but they have been acting very un-Blizzard-like this whole time, or rather, I think they've been acting like the old Blizzard for this, and it's honestly refreshing. Besides the gym tab that is confirmed for Season 2, what change improvement is everyone hoping to see the most in Season 1? Mine is a mount overhaul. Right now, the mount interaction with the world is the most clunky thing for me. Yeah, sound off what you would like to see in Season 1. And mentioning mounts, it's funny that that was mentioned because I did see a meme out here recently. I can't find it right now, but it's kind of making fun of the fact that people will be remembering the mount, considering that teleporting is a thing now and they missed their mounts already. So it's kind of like becoming a double-edged sword, I guess, the teleporting thing. Kind of strange. But I do get that, you know, seeing your mount. But there's other activities like the Hell Tide where you really do have to utilize your mount. So I still think there's ways that they are utilizing the mount in the right way. All right, so next up we have this one right here. It says using the dismount button, should not incur the 10-second cooldown. Yes, finally someone mentioned it. It is so annoying how often you have to experience a cooldown related to your mount. They definitely need to improve this. And if they were to throw something of a quality of life change in Season 1, that's one thing they should definitely consider is, you know, adjusting the cooldown or getting rid of it completely for the mounts. Alrighty then, so now it's time to get into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. So yeah, what was my most recent video about? Check it out right here. Diablo 4, the big patch in here, but why did they do this? Big buffs and my updated thoughts. Oh boy, so yeah, let's get into your comments about this one again. I felt like I was perhaps a little bit too picky about the teleporting thing, and I came across as, I guess, thankless. Let me tell you what, I'm extremely grateful for what Blizzard has done with the teleporting, with the patches. Man, I rewatched the video. I'm like, dude, I did not even say, like, this is awesome, this is fantastic, this is great. There's a whole story about yesterday, by the way, why the video was so late and everything. Let's just say yesterday was a bit hectic. All right, so let's get into your comments about this one, though. So we have Sakara Wolf, who says, if I had to guess, it was either wait to implement Nightmare Dungeon waypoints or implement it like they did. They chose to rush and give players what they wanted. This is the way to go. It probably required more coding to teleport you into the dungeon and more testing, which will likely come later. That is an excellent take, by far one of the best takes about the situation. So yes, 100% agree. I think that is the reason. Again, they keep saying that launch is only the beginning, and we are clearly seeing that with a lot of the updates. I think they're going to keep going with it. All right, so what's next? We have this one right here. The buff to Necro Minion build seems pretty lame, and not much was given, and what was given seems kind of useless. Great vid. Thank you very much. But yeah, a lot of people I did notice in the comment section saying, you know what, the buffs are so minimal, I'm not really feeling much. Then again, some people were like, man, I feel the buffs. I'm feeling them, especially on the Barbarian, for example. Let me know how you guys are feeling about the buffs so far. If they're kind of like worthless, meh, or if you're like they nailed it with a lot of the buffs. All right, so let's keep going. We have this one right here from Dennis, who says, it's a good patch, also considering that they could only include stuff from the first week of feedback after the release or so. If you think about that, this patch was finished at least 3 weeks ago, if not longer. The early Season 1 patch should include some more stuff regarding in-game balancing, the density changes hinted at that, and more of the points the community talked about. Yeah, kind of curious to see what they do with this pre-Season 1 patch that is most likely going to be released in, I don't know, mid-early July. That's me speculating. But yeah, curious to see what they could make happen with that one as well. For me personally, the big thing is the PC performance issues. I want to get past this. I want to be able to play on PC without worrying about this nagging micro stutter, which for me is just the worst. It's just annoying. All right. Let's keep going. We have Sumanaku says they will never teleport you right into the dungeon. Porting you outside is intentional. They want you to still feel like the dungeons are in the overworld, which they have designed. Having you just port directly in them would defeat the whole purpose of even creating a location for the dungeons. Interesting. They didn't want us to port the dungeons, and we got a port. Deal with the short loading screens. They're not that bad. Riding the horse to every dungeon was a much longer loading screen. With this setup, you still feel like you are arriving to the dungeon and entering the dungeon. Needing to open your map and click the dungeon icon is also intentional. It all gives a sense of time and place, validating the world they created rather than giving you a greater Rift experience. I understand the downside to loading screens, but in this case, I'm willing to accept them and meet the devs halfway. Appreciate that these dungeons have homes on the map. It might matter a little bit more one day. Yeah. That's a really good take as well. You know, they developed this entire open world, and that's one of the reasons why they also gave us a mount so we can have, you know, a steed that we can customize and enjoy on our journey through the open world. So I do completely get where you're coming from. I admire the change. I love that they got it into the game so quickly. I've covered games where it takes months and months and months for them to even consider putting something like this in the game. So for them to pull this off so quickly, kudos to Blizzard. You guys are absolutely right. Yes, I feel like they nailed the patch as well. And I'm enjoying the hell out of the game. Let me tell you what, I have never had so much fun with an open world game lately. And it's strange. It's like, even with upcoming games, all I'm thinking about is Diablo 4. You know, there's a lot of big, heavy hitters coming up. But at the top of the list, still Diablo 4. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more news and updates. I have you guys covered on all things Diablo 4. I will see you all next time. Take care.